Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing this morning? I can't sleep. I've been trying to sleep, but I just can't force myself to sleep. So where where I live right now, it's 12:01 in the morning. So, so sometimes I have episodes of insomnia, but I'm gonna I want to take this time to share with you guys what's going on again with China. This time it does not involve Africa. This time it involves the Philippines. Now, since it's the wee hours of the morning, I'm going to be keeping my voice down because my brother and my dad, they're sleeping right now, and their rooms are not that very far from the room that I'm in now. So I'm gonna keep my voice as low and as low as I can, so I do not disturb them. Probably the only ones who can hear me speaking are my dogs, but I think my brother and my dad are in deep sleep. Sometimes they can be um, light sleepers, so I don't want to wake them up and disturb them. But so I'm just gonna keep it down, and I'm gonna read to you guys the article. Now, if you guys wanna follow along, you can open a new tab. That's if you're using a laptop. You can open a new tab, copy and paste the article, and follow along as I read. All right. So I'm gonna get to it. So the article says that China and the Philippines sign an offshore oil and gas deal. So it says on the captions that Beijing and Manila deepen ties with memorandum of understanding over the South China Sea. China and the Philippines agreed to a controversial deal on joint oil and gas development in the South China Sea on Tuesday, in the latest sign of a deepening rapprochement between the two countries. As I cannot pronounce his name, so I'm just gonna pronounce him as Ling Ling. As Ling Ling arrived in the Philippines for the first state visit by a Chinese leader in 13 years, a long mooted bilateral memorandum of understanding to unlock rich offshore deposits was signed between the two countries. Relations between Beijing and Manila had frayed due to a long-standing territorial dispute over the South China Sea, but Rodrigo Duterte has tilted the Philippines away from its traditional ally, the United States, towards China after becoming president 2 years ago in 2016. Welcoming Ling Ling to Malacanang Palace in Manila on Tuesday, Mr. Duterte described the Chinese president's visit as a landmark moment in our shared history. He added, "We've turned a new page and we are ready to write a new chapter of openness and cooperation." Details of the oil and gas agreement's framework were not made public on Tuesday. However, the suggestion that the Philippines join with China to prospect for energy in waters where both countries claim sovereignty was condemned by Mr. Duterte's political opponents. Opposition Senators Antonio Trillanes, a leading critic of the president, and Francis Pangilinan urged Mr. Duterte not to sign any agreement with China or any other country that diminishes the Philippines' exclusive rights. Doing so, they said, would violate the country's constitution, and they are exactly on point on that. They are correct about that. Tama sila lahat, because with China, China does not have the Philippines' best interests at heart. All right, they don't. They're through their Belt Road Initiative. Go research about that. That will be another topic for another video. But they're setting all these debt traps in weaker countries so that um, they can steal and loot money from these countries and set them in debt traps. In 2016, an international tribunal in The Hague ruled in the Philippines' favor in its maritime dispute with China over what Manila calls the West Philippine Sea. You see, they're having territorial. China and the Philippines are having territorial disputes. Mr. Trillanes on Tuesday circulated what he said was a Chinese draft of the deal, seen by the Financial Times, that proposed equal sharing of the proceeds from joint exploration and friendly consolations to resolve disputes. The FT could not independently verify the document's authenticity. It is preposterous and treacherous, said Risa Hontiveros, another opposition senator. It reverses our historic victory at The Hague and signs away Philippine sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea. And you see, with these Chinese, when they come to the Philippines and take over, run businesses there and build infrastructures, they're not going to be treating the Filipinos there nicely. They're going to be mistreating them, just like how they mistreat Africans when they colonize Africa. Because Filipinos having dark skin, they are also looked down upon by the Chinese. Both Ling Ling and Duterte were keen to play down the issue. China and the Philippines have a lot of common interests in the South China Sea, adding that the two sides would continue to manage contentious issues and promote maritime cooperation. Mr. Duterte spoke of deepening trust and confidence between the two nations and said he was pleased with the current positive momentum of the Philippines-China relations. The area of the South China Sea of the Philippines, Palawan Island, is thought to contain some of the region's richest energy deposits, which is what China is after, which is why China is setting these Belt Road initiatives in weaker countries who actually have all the resources that China greedily wants. But the country has not been able to fully exploit because of pressure from China. The Philippines suspended oil and gas exploration in the area indefinitely in 2015. Elsewhere in the region, Vietnam has faced pressure from Beijing over offshore drilling, causing Spain's Repsol to suspend 2 projects. Other memoranda of understanding, contracts, and agreements signed on Tuesday included a deal to build a Chinese industrial park at Clark, a former U.S. base northwest of Manila, and the rebuilding and rehabilitation of Marawi, the southern city devastated last year during a battle between government forces and Islamist militants. So that's pretty much the whole article there. Yeah, as you can see here, President Duterte, which is who is the president of the Philippines, is not making good decisions with the agreements he's making with China. I don't know. He probably does not know all the things that China has been doing to weak countries, especially many weak countries in Africa. But to you Filipinos who are watching this video, you really need to get together and you really need to be doing protests around the Philippines and get President Duterte to stop making agreements with China, because China is just a really evil nation that cares about nothing but greed. And like I said before, they even treat their own people like garbage. All right. So what makes you think that they're gonna treat you any better? What makes you think they're gonna have any consideration or feelings with you? Like I said, they look down on Filipinos because they have dark skin. They I've seen a video one time where this Filipina woman was crying while she was sharing her experiences in China, how the people over there treated her. You see what I'm saying? If this is the way China is gonna be treating the people they despise, why the people whom they despise, why should they continue making these agreements with China? They 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 should be rejecting these agreements from China and let China know that something is up and that they will not put up with China's death traps or evil scheme. Alright? So I'm gonna be keeping up to date more on this information and giving you guys updates. Hope you guys have a good night. And with all of that said, I will say shalom.